Hey everybody, thanks for coming back and wrapping this Arsenal series up. I'm Jason. Uh, Welcome again to Walking in Shadow. This finishes up the Spiritual Warriors Arsenal series. This one's called Trust and Source, and I'm going to get to that. I do want to cover a few things briefly. I'm going to try to avoid that rambling tangent alarm. Uh, I didn't go to Silva or Cullowhee, not because I didn't want to, but I just don't have the money or the gas to do it really. The job that I was working ended as I suspected it would. Um, Ended up probably breaking even just with the gas, but yeah, hey, whatever. I'll need the money when I get it. That's how it usually works out. But I will be going there eventually, just when I'm in a better position to do so. Um, that's really all that's relevant. So, trust and source. First, let me say about source, what that means and what that means to me. Source is just my way of acknowledging the all encompassing presence behind the curtain, you know, the Wizard of Oz. Um, so, yes, so to you, it may be God, it may be Allah, it may be uh, the goddess and the god. I mean, whatever it is. To me, it's source. And that comes a lot from what I'm learning with downloads about the center of our universe, and that's God, I guess, or that's the source. We have nothing that would ever be able to get there anyway, physically. So, um, and I'm of the opinion that I say that because you know I don't really have people to check notes with, but what happened with the shift is that um, did I talk about this already? I probably did. Well, I'm going to talk about it again because it's important. So we were just catching like not even maybe just like the edge of uh, the energy that was coming from the center of the universe or source. Um, but as we enter this age, we're starting to become in line with it because the thing we like that ours, not just our galaxy or many galaxies, they're all on an arm of a thing that is reminiscent of like a Bridget's cross or something. It's sort of an X or cross shape, that kind of thing. I mean, it just boggles the mind, the size, because, I mean, obviously, our galaxy's not even recognizable in the arm of it. But nevertheless, uh, the alignment with the arm that we're on to source is starting to come into a position where we're getting direct energy from source. And that's why we're all inflating, or whatever you want to call it, expanding, or gifts opening, or whatever. That's what I have a lot, what it has to do with. So, whenever I talk about source, I'm talking about God, or whatever you want to call it. I don't like to personify it. That's a human trait. I am human. Jason's human. So, and that's not like a mental condition. Speaking of myself in third person, it's just I'm in tune with the parts or more parts of myself that are not named Jason, that have existed for millennia. And that's where a lot of the stuff that I talk to you about is coming from. And the more I open up to it, the more I have to say. So, I wish I could give you a preview, but it doesn't really work like that. Trust in source is very important because it's sort of like the connection. Like if you try to do all the things you want to do on just your own energy, you'll run out quick, depending on the situation. You know, like if the difference between like if you had some kind of electronic device and even if you had some battery packs with it and something just drained it, if you had it somehow connected to say like a nuclear reactor, then you'd probably be all right. Really, you know, like no local thing or entity is going to be draining that. But I'm just using that as an analogy because spiritually, if you're just going off your own stuff, which may be formidable, I mean, I don't know, but it's if you're doing it all on your own personal power, that's finite because we're human and it's inside that. So if you want an endless channel of personal, magical, spiritual power, whatever you want to call it, just connect to source. You are anyway, so it's more acknowledging the connection and allowing it. This is true in everything. It's not just the entity hunt. It's true in everything, spiritual or not. You just have to be connected, and then trust. So let it be known that I am not like sitting pretty somewhere up on high telling you about things. I'm telling you about them. I still live them. I mean, I still have to deal with these things as long as I'm alive. And in fact, the more aware I become of things, the more difficult it is, I guess. I mean, you know, they say ignorance is bliss. Well, it's just the fact that, like, knowing so many things and all the ways that things interact, and it's just a lot. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a lot for me. I don't know. But I'm just trying to explain to you that I'm on the ground too with all of you. I'm not like floating around on some nimbus saying, hey, good job down there. Hey, good job. No. I'm down here too. And because I've devoted so much of my life to the spiritual, I mean, it just really, maybe that's why it's more intense for me. I don't know. I'm not saying more than you. I'm just saying more intense for me than what I would think is a suitable amount of intensity. It's more than that. But the best way I can describe it is with my own situation. So, you know, I lost that job, which, like I said, was costing me money. I wasn't really like seeing anything yet, the way the pay scale went out or whatever. Um, I knew though that I knew though that it was going to be over. In fact, that's connected to something else I wanted to talk about. Is that this week I've had two separate premonitions about specific people and places and things, and they came to be 100%. And I've never had anything like that. I mean, I've had maybe something like that for me personally, unspoken, like a knowing, I guess, but never about other people or situations. But I knew it to be true, and then it was true, and I was like, all right. You know, that's exciting for me because I always thought that I was more. I mean, yes, I'm an empath. Yes, I know I have psychic sensitivity, but actual premonitions, no, I never had that. So everybody's growing and changing all the time, and if you can be riding that wave instead of getting rolled by it, that's the goal. That's the goal with my videos. It's definitely my goal. Why would you just want to be tossed about in the undertow? You can be riding that sucker, right? But all I really have right now is trust in source. I mean, because, you know, energy's a wave. We should be a wave. We're both particle and wave, but ultimately, wave is the way to go. Is energy versus matter. Um, and I just keep seeing a loop or like a progression of habits and patterns that I know for certain if I like died and had to do it again, that it would be a karmic lesson. Does that also mean that it's something I've faced before? I'm not sure. But I can see it now. It's the only way I can really put it. You know, I can see it. I can see what some steps are. And I'm trying to take them. They're not easy. They suck. They suck. But you know, I'm used to it. I'm used to things sucking. So, and I don't mean like life and, you know, I'm going to put my guy liner on. Not since the 90s. But, you know, just situations that none of us like. I have to find a third way, basically. It's like, you know, there's the old way that doesn't work anymore. There's a new way, or that you think is going to work. Maybe it would if you go, but the third way is the intuition way, which never makes sense to anything. And what I mean by that is it makes sense to you after the fact. But, you know, sometimes you're like, you know, I don't want to go that route. Well, then you just go and do your loop again and come back to the spot where you have a chance to do it again. So I'd just rather do it early than later. But when all of your, I don't know, when all the cards have been read and all the crystals scryed and all the books studied and people you've gotten information from, all of that, when all that's exhausted, I'm not saying it's exhausted, but for that situation or whatever, you're just left with yourself, which is really all you should be focused on anyway. But I understand. I mean, I've had to do it too, but you just have to trust that it's going to work. I mean, my situation's unique, and it doesn't fit with anybody else. I can't say, well, just like so-and-so did, or whatever. Whenever I talk about being alone, or there's nobody else, it's not meant as a pity party. It's just hard sometimes to compare notes with somebody, and like, does this make any sense at all? Because usually those people are tapping into the same source I am, so it's really up to me to figure out, which is tough for me because I wanted to make the right decision. I can't control it. I realize that, and I've opened myself up and become vulnerable, a la this channel, as opposed to keeping it to myself. And you just get to that point. I mean, yes, there's the cliff, and you jump off the cliff. Okay, I jumped off the cliff. And then I found that the cliff just went to somewhere else. I had to jump from another direction or something. I don't know. I know a lot of the things that I say are sort of rambling, but this is how it comes in, and especially because I can't have that one-to-one conversation where we can talk about things and sort of bounce off of each other. It's just me, so like I say, I'm not used to just talking to my own face and whatnot. I don't do that a whole lot. I use the mirror to like brush my teeth, or when I shave or shave my head or something, but I don't just like stare longingly into the mirror. I definitely look at this thing longer than I've ever looked in the mirror. But the point being that you take all of the things from before, like awareness, impeccability, your tools, if you take all of the other things and many other things, which I hope to cover in time, you can have all those things, but that still puts you just on your own. But you have to realize that you're not, you never were, that source is always connected to you. It's connected to everything else alive that is. So, I mean, it's not like you're just going rogue or something. Even if your actions seem like to yourself that you're going rogue, you're not. And everything explains itself. You gotta have that connection. I don't know how else to say it. It's just, we're entering a new age, and not the new age. I was there for that. I mean, literally. So, we're the pioneers of that. If you have any, I don't even want to say that, but we are the pioneers. It's up to us to lead the way. And, you're going to trip over shit. You're going to hit your head on a branch. Because nobody's been there before. There's no path. You just gotta trust in Source like you trust in people that you love. I don't mean just people. Trust is definitely an issue for me. How do I work on it? That's all I can do. And Source is not hard to work on, but I mean just the acknowledgement of it, I guess, because I was totally isolated and insulated for a long time, so it is a good feeling to know that you're not alone. Nobody wants that, even if they say it, they don't really want it. 'Cause I've been alone a long time. It's not fun, but unfortunately, because of my sensitivities, it's the only way I can manage a lot of the time. Just not be around people. It's real dig to the social calendar, but I get out when I can. I go places, I visit people when I can. So the message, not the trust in Source thing I'm not talking about, even though it is, because I am trusting in Source to deliver this message to you. Well, I say there's no judgment on this channel, and there isn't, of who you are or what you are. I do want to say, though, that I feel morally responsible to say that if you see people struggling spiritually, not like on a vapid level, but really struggling, help them. Help them. It's not difficult. Help them any way that you can. Whatever you felt drawn to do it. Help them. The channel Walking in Shadow is because I walk in shadow. Yes, it's got a lot of other personal meanings, but the meaning for the masses, big 20 of you or whoever watches this, you just gotta help others. You just gotta do it. You just have to. I mean, that's where they are. That's why it's Walking in Shadow, because that's where they are. People who are like biggest concerns are, I don't mean that. I don't want to say that. I want to say people that, I mean, I'm still struggling, obviously. Look at me. But, people who are on the path, help them too, and help them on a human level. Help people just to help people. That's great. Do it, please. But I'm talking about there's other people that I need help with this one. Give me a second. Sorry. There are other people on the fringe. It has a lot to do with starting with the negative entity video. It's the people who lack direction. It's the people who feel completely lost. If you're going to wield light, then you need to do so. And you need to wield it to lead others. Don't let people fall behind. Reach out. Help them. They're in the darkness, and all it takes is one hand up. Be that hand. Well, so that ends the Arsenal series. And, well, do some more stuff soon. I love every one of you. Be the light, lead the others. Let's go.